Okay. Hello, Evo. I know I've already sent you some videos, but this is another one just to see how I edit when there's four people speaking. So I've already done a lot. You want it to look a bit like this, basically. Very choppy. But I'll show you some stuff and just how I think. So,
We are screening some films by Alejandro Jodorowsky.
So already here you can see there's mic bleeding, so I'm going to delete that. Because it's the start to an intro, I want to cut this out just to keep the flow, but in other places it's fine. So let's go like this. Whoops.
We are screening some films by Alejandro Jodorowsky at Lab 111, and we're doing that because...
So again, I'll probably cut this. You want to make sure there's still enough breaks. There's a bit of mic bleeding here, so I just delete it rather than cutting up the time. Again, mic bleeding, so let's listen.
At Lab 111, and we're doing that because I also started a distribution company next to the cinema called Odyssey Classics, and I bought three Jodorowskys. Humble brag, very much a humble.
So, let's see, because
three Jodorowskys.
So you can't really hear Hugo, or you can kind of. So what I'm gonna do is, I see there's a gap here, so I'd probably start it a bit later. Let's see if it works.
What's three Jodorowskys?
Humble brag,
very much a humble brag,
See,
indeed.
Sounds already.
Yeah, so we're talking about his films.
So again, cut this. Often also this bit here. So look, I can sense it. Tom is probably gonna do heavy breathing. No, sometimes it will be cut out by Tom when he does the mix down, but just to be safe, I do that, and then it's fine. Also here is like a tut, I think. It's kind of annoying to listen to, so I always delete them. They're often at the start. Hugo and Tom do it a lot, so they're best to look out for. But let's have a listen to the cold open now. See what it's like. Look, I can also see one here. So let's see how it sounds.
We are screening some films by Alejandro Jodorowsky at Lab 111, and we're doing that because I also started a distribution company next to the cinema called Odyssey Classics, and I bought three Jodorowskys.
humble brag,
very much a humble brag, indeed. Yeah, so we're talking about his films, his bizarre, spiritual.
So cut that one.
Films, his bizarre, spiritual, out there, everywhere movies.
I believe you have a cold open.
I have a cold open, which is as I said before we started recording, as incoherent as some of his cinema work.
Right, didn't mean to do that.
Incoherent as some of his cinema work. But I will hope it makes. I hope it will make. I hope it.
The really nice thing about Ableton is you can really zoom in. So look, there's even this bit, and I can keep zooming further, and then I just delete that. And it's quite good. So, and then always make to zoom out.
This cinema work. I hope it will make sense, and I hope it can be the starting point of a conversation about many things. It's a bit long, I think. Sorry about that. If you ever found yourself at If you ever found yourself at an after party at my house during my 20s, work. I hope it will make sense, and I hope it can be the starting point of a conversation about many things. It's a bit long, I think. Sorry about that. If you ever found yourself at an after party at my house during my 20s, chances are I made you watch a scene from...
So you can hear like it's.
Chances are I made...
So small, but I always cut it to be safe.
Chances are I made you watch a scene from an outrageous and grotesque film by Yugoslavian art house provocateur Dusan Makavejev. Movie called Sweet Movie.
Fijner.
Sweet Movie.
Bijna.
called Sweet Movie.
Oh, cut too much. Let's do it like that.
Sweet Movie.
Bijna.
Usually the scene where a wealthy American man wearing a large cowboy hat, unsubtly symbolizing American capitalism,
You hear the slight breathing.
cleans his newly acquired Eastern European bride with some cotton wool and disinfectant before whipping out his gold... Such a bizarre sentence this. Usually
So,
cleans his newly acquired Eastern European bride with some cotton wool and disinfectant before whipping out his gold... Usually the scene where a wealthy American man wearing a...
so you can cut. See if he does it again better. Sometimes he may do the first take better and then I mix the two together.
Bijna.
Usually the scene where a wealthy American man wearing a large cowboy hat, unsubtly symbolizing American capitalism, cleans his newly acquired Eastern European bride with some cotton wool and disinfectant before whipping out his gold-painted penis while she stares at him.
Sorry, Mum, I don't want you to listen to that.
While she stares at him obliviously and lays on a fluffy heart-shaped bed underneath a large-scale replica of the Statue of Liberty. Meanwhile, his
Again, small one there.
scale replica of the Statue of Liberty. Meanwhile, his mother is standing outside spectating the whole thing.
So. I know.
Spectating the whole standing outside spectating
So I want to cut that first one.
spectate
So
is standing outside spectating
okay, so it comes in a bit too fast. So instead I do it like this.
outside spectating the whole standing outside spectating the whole
Okay. And maybe it's a slightly harsh ending, so I bring it like that.
outside spectating the whole standing outside spectating the whole thing. His mother is standing outside spectating the whole thing next to a full...
Again, you can hear slight breathing. It's not that big of a deal. Tom will probably cut it up, fade it out, mix it out. But I sometimes just like to do it to be safe.
whole thing next to a full swing mariachi band. Oh yeah, cut to a close-up of his gold... Oh yeah, cut to his... Oh yeah, cut to a close-up of his gold penis peeing. Oh yeah, cut to a...
So, I prefer the way.
Oh yeah, cut to a... Oh yeah. Oh yeah, cut to a close-up of a...
I want to try this.
band. Oh yeah, cut to a close-up of his gold penis peeing. Fade to a waterfall. Oh yeah, cut to a close-up of his gold penis peeing.
No, let me see it like this.
Oh yeah, cut to a close-up of
No difference really, but sometimes I'll do that.
mariachi band. Oh yeah, cut to a close-up of his gold penis peeing. Fade to a waterfall. My friends used to hate it when a new person would join a party at my place because it meant that I have to endure this scene again. Oh boy, here comes Sweet Movie again. Scene again. Oh boy, here comes Sweet Movie again. Sweet Movie again. I saw Sweet Movie in my early 20s when one of my best friends, who now runs a cinema in Rotterdam, organized underground movie nights at a place called the Rode Bioscoop here in Amsterdam. And while I saw some far better films there, like Elem Klimov's Come and See, Francis Ford Coppola's Come and See, Francis Ford Coppola's Apocalypse Now.
Okay, so they're also listing films, so I forgot to do this. Let's see. Apocalypse Now. Usually I'm better at this, so I think sweet. Just helps me to go back later when I make the film list.
Saw some far better films there, like Elem Klimov's Come and See, Francis Ford Coppola's Apocalypse Now, or Andrei Tarkovsky's Stalker. Makaveyev's endlessly controversial film always stayed with me. It would function as a sort of gate...
You can hear it, and I always zoom in just to be sure. So.
with me. It would function as a sort of gateway drug into a very particular envelope-pushing brand of 70s filmmaking. One that not only expects one that envelope-pushing brand of 70s filmmaking. One that not only expressed the sexual, spiritual, and political revolution of the times, but also showcased a madcap, drug-induced style of expressing grand and often outrageous.
So there, I was waiting to see if this was someone speaking, but it's not. It's just someone hitting the microphone.
Induced style of expressing grand and often outrageous ideas. Enter Alejandro Jodorowsky. In my younger years of being obsessed with lists, I bumped into the Holy Mountain many times. The website Taste of Cinema would feature the Holy Mountain many times. The website Taste of Cinema would feature it in selections like 20 best cult movies, or 20 most visually arresting films, or
Not needed, this laugh.
arresting films, or 20 films to watch drugs on, or 20 films to watch on drugs. The most visually arresting films, or 20 films to watch or 20 film or 20 films to watch on drugs. I may have made that last one up. Drugs. I may have made that last one up. And yet it was nearly impossible to see it in proper quality. A clearly bootleg DVD. A clearly bootleg DVD by an Italian company called Raro Video looked like somebody had poured paint thinner over their negative. Later I found out that the unavailability of the film was due to its producer Alan Klein, former manager of the Beatles, who tried to keep Jodorowsky's films out of circulation. According to Jodorowsky, Klein was waiting for him to die so he could earn more money with Jodorowsky dead. Newsflash, Klein is now dead. Jodorowsky has turned 94 last week. In my first year as a programmer of Lab 111, I booked his acid western El Topo and his In my first year as a programmer of Lab 111, I booked his acid western El Topo and his master.
Hear that tut? Wait, before I finish this, I want to show you something else. Let's see. I'm trying to find a bit where they all talk over each other. So, oh no, they seem pretty good. Maybe here.
That was pretty interesting.
Wow, that's a dry reflection on the.
No.
So here, I kind of cut everyone off.
Wow, that's a dry reflection on the.
No.
Yeah, good stuff. Great. Yeah, all right. Let's finish this up.
I said it was fierce.
Yeah, that's not the best example. But sometimes, say if they're all laughing or if they're all saying stuff over each other, you can cut them up. So you only have like two people laughing because you'll still hear it in the echo, and like kind of cut certain people over talking each other. So like often what happens, someone will keep rambling and then someone will ask a question and then someone else will answer it, and so I cut away until you can just hear the question and then the person answering, if that helps. But hopefully that gives you an idea. Let's